Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So today I wanted to piggyback off of Lamley Group's latest premiere where he went through and reviewed the new Amazon exclusive black box that contains 16 Hot Wheels coming here in December for the 2023 year. Wanted to give you guys my take on that release. I know everybody's really excited about it. Initially, it does sound like a great idea because it answers the one massive concern that we have as collectors, and that is missing out on retailer restock days, missing out on the exclusives, potentially missing on super treasure hunts, chase pieces. It goes on and on. I mean, that is the biggest complaint that we as collectors have in the community. I mean, you can see it on social media every day. Stories about being 2 seconds late to the pegs, driving from store to store, wasting time and gas and money, all to strike out, all to just sift through pegs that have already been rinsed through time and time again by other collectors, and always coming home empty-handed. This is the answer that Amazon and Hot Wheels has come together, essentially packaging the most sought after cars from each box set for the year, so cases A through Q, putting them into a neat package that can be purchased simply on Amazon.com and have them shipped directly to your door. It almost sounds too good to be true, right? But with every good, there's gotta be a bad, and I would say that this release presents more of a bad than it does a good. And you gotta think about this big picture. You gotta think about the hobby as a whole. This is essentially another access point to where collectors can get more super treasure hunts, more sought after mainlines, basically saturating the market, right? Part of what makes this hobby so fun is the challenge to find these chase pieces. And now that everything just shows up at your door and anybody can do it, that just brings down the overall value of these cars. And when I say value, guys, I'm not just talking about monetary value, but I'm talking about collector interest. That value is going to come crashing down because now everybody is going to have an opportunity to get the super treasure hunt. Now everybody's going to have the same cars, and the same availability is going to be presented to everybody. Hot Wheels are considered a collectible item because of how much work and effort it takes to actually acquire all these pieces, but in this instance, with this release making it so accessible, I think this turns Hot Wheels into more of a consumable. And what I mean by that is it becomes an item where you buy it, it has some value initially, and then it starts to drop off, and then consumers will just go on and buy the next case and the next case after that, all the way through the whole year. Just always buying that next card, that next release, that next super treasure hunt through these boxes, and the values are just gonna plummet. You can say that there's still a lot of unknowns when it comes to this 16 count black box from Amazon. For instance, we don't know how much it's gonna cost. So 16 cars at roughly $1.25 a piece, that puts us at about $20. That's my estimate. I'm guessing there's going to be a little bit of an exclusivity tax that's going to be applied by Amazon, so you could say about $25 to $30 for this 16 count box. The other unknown that's out there is that we don't know what kind of quantities Amazon's going to be supplying us with these. Is it going to be like the mini sets where it's limited to 500 per case code? Or is it going to be made to order? Is it going to be something that's essentially going to meet the demand of the consumers? Meaning, as much as we buy, that's how much they replenish. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Amazon, being the largest e-commerce merchant in the world, they're going to meet demand with this. They're going to play the quantity game, meaning Hot Wheels is probably going to tack on to their existing production numbers to make sure that this launch with Amazon is successful. And that means that the overall quantity of Hot Wheels, super treasure hunts included, are going to go way up coming here in 2023. My concern is that they're going to overproduce on these 16 count black boxes. And again, values of these cars and these collectible items are going to come way down. I mean, we've seen it before in other collectible spaces. So if you think about sports cards in the 90s, the demand was so high, they started to pump out and overproduce baseball, basketball, sports cards in general. The values came down, collectors got tired of it, and they quit. And a very recent example for you guys, just this past week, Bank of America has announced that Hasbro's stock is projected to drop by 34% because they are overproducing their Magic the Gathering cards. Again, another collectible item, highly sought after, and what Hasbro is doing is essentially re-releasing all of the most popular cards, all of the cards that are in the highest demand to meet their customer needs. And by doing so, it brings that collectability of their products way down. Even the market can recognize that. And I feel like that is the same scenario that Mattel and Hot Wheels is doing with these extra releases of just your basic assortment. We've already seen this in the RLC where releases are now reaching 30,000 in quantity, whereas if you backtrack just 4 or 5 years ago, releases like this Peak Datsun 510 were only in the 5,000 range, and the prices from a value standpoint have drastically changed, where this Datsun 510 is upwards of $200, $250, whereas for example the Ryu Asada S2000, as popular and as sought after as it is, it's only $50. In the last year or so here, you can also say that Hot Wheels is dabbling in the idea of reproducing a lot of very sought after casts. So case in point, the Forza S15, as popular as this car is, this was actually the first edition of this Nissan Silvia S15, and they re-released it in an Amazon exclusive 5-pack for Forza. We've also seen the famous BRE Datsun 510, the 46 car re-release in premium format in this Target exclusive 2-pack. Again, all widely popular, all very sought after and gobbled up, but at the same time, guys, that brought the values of all these cars down. It's essentially like we're losing integrity on these cars every time there's a reproduction or a quantity that is overproduced. I will also bring up another issue with Amazon that is very apparent, and we can't play the naive card on this one, but the return policy on Amazon is very lenient. And what I'm getting at with this, guys, is I can see when these things go live, they're available, people are going to buy them by the 10s, 20s, maybe even by the hundreds. Look for the supers and return the cases that do not have supers. Again, saturating the market with supers being so widely available and so easy to obtain, and it's just gonna kill the values. So what do we do moving forward? Knowing all of this, knowing that these 16 count black boxes are gonna go live on Amazon coming in December, less than a month away. Everybody's going to pick them up. It's going to be fair marketplace. Everybody's going to have that same availability and a chance at a super treasure hunt. I'll admit, I personally am going to purchase some. I'm going to try my luck at it. I'm probably going to open up a few of these here on the channel just to share with you guys what's inside and the likelihood of getting a super treasure hunt. But what I will say is that I'm going to be tempering my expectations. I'm sure Hot Wheels and Mattel are going to do their due diligence. I'm sure they're not going to put a super treasure hunt in every single box. However, depending how available these boxes are going to be on Amazon, I don't doubt that people are going to be abusing the process. They're going to get as many of these as possible. There's going to be a flooded market of sought after cars, sought after Hot Wheels all over the place. And I'll end with this one last thought, guys. If Hot Wheels is going to continue to increase their production numbers and allow extra accessibility to these sought after cars, super treasure hunts, main lines, chase pieces, etc., all I can say is that the value of all the cars up to this point that have been sought after, so your EK9 Super Treasure Hunts, your Legends Tour Datsun 510s, any of the RLCs that have taken place up to this point are definitely going to hold value and continue to grow, because it's going to be these access points that are going to draw in new collectors. Everything is going to go up, but at the same time, I feel like the hobby as a whole is going to hurt just a little bit. Those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think. like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.